Hello Palians and welcome to a new video. Today I want to bring you a video that is inspired by the new building blocks, and as you can see in the title, we're gonna build a bee farm / beehives. So as you can see right here, I am currently in H mode because that just makes moving around these building blocks a lot easier. And I am using all of the wooden building blocks, so the ramps, the large blocks, the small wood crates, and the flooring. And what I am doing is I am putting the ramps on top of it so that it will look like a beehive, because the beehives usually have that pointed roof, and that is what I'm recreating with the ramps. I would have liked them to be a little bit smaller. As you can see, I try to accomplish that with the small crates, but they're just we're just gonna say that they're mansions for bees. Let's just keep it at that. And I wasn't completely satisfied with the placement, so I'm just quickly gonna reposition these, and then we'll move on to putting in the rest of the flooring. Things are gonna shift around in this a little bit because I didn't craft enough flooring and I was too lazy to go craft more, and I also had a little bit of trouble getting that floor underneath the crates, and I didn't really want to move everything. So in this shot I still have 2 pieces of flooring at the very front of this build. Those aren't gonna stay there because what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to use those. As you can see here, I'm going to place the bee plushie on top of the floor, and ignore that shelf, that's not gonna stay there. It was for an experiment and I forgot to take it out. But what I'm gonna do is, if you maneuver it correctly, the flooring will be invisible, and with that it will look like the plushie is floating out of the beehive, flying out of the beehive. And all you really need is a flooring and to put the plushie on top. You don't really need to do anything special. The only difficulty is glitching the floor into the crate so it is invisible, but other than that it's really easy to get them in place. And I also thought these lights would work really well. I unfortunately didn't have the lure item that you can buy with the coins you get from the accomplishment, so I had to get creative, and I thought these lights sort of looked like honey lures. It would have been amazing if we could just place honey lures and stuff like that down if we wanted to use them in a particular build. But you know, this also creates opportunity to be creative. And I am also placing some flowers. I chose these 2. Don't ask me the names because I always forget with the amount of flowers we have now. But both of these I thought kind of look like spilled honey, so that's why I placed these in. I didn't have too many of them yet. I would have liked to use more if I had any, but I think it does the job. Also trying to see if I could glitch one of the flowers like into the crates to also mimic the honey spilling, but I couldn't get it to work and I wasn't patient, so I just placed it down on the floor. Also gonna put in some of these for the bees to pollinate on. And I know this is not a bee, but I was too lazy, too impatient to go catch a starred golden glory bee or Bahari bee, so we're just gonna pretend that this butterfly is a bee. It kind of looks golden-ish, so if we just squint our eyes, we can pretend that it's a bee. And right now I am working on this backdrop, and I also wanted to use the wooden walls in this build to create a little bit like a shed maybe. And to create the structure of the shed, I used the Spring Fever gazebo. And you're gonna see me struggle for a little bit because I wanted a second story to this wall, so it is completely fenced in, but I had a little bit of trouble making it look right from the front. When you're watching this and seeing this, you could say, oh well, it doesn't look that bad from the back, and you're right, it looks great from the back. But if you were to stand in front of this build and looking inside of it, you could kind of see like a gap because the second row of walls is behind the first row and it just didn't look quite right. So what I decided to do was turn everything around so that the top is closer to the gazebo than the bottom pieces. And I don't know what I did here, but it took me the longest time to figure out that I had these turned the wrong way around for like a really long time. And I also kind of lopsided these two. They weren't directly on top of each other, so I also had to fiddle around with that quite a bit. And let's check the result one more time. And see, you can kind of see that overlap of the walls, and I didn't quite like that, so I decided to put this one in the back after all. And that is when I realized that these were still turned around the wrong way. So now that I fixed that, I'm gonna place this wall back, and I am satisfied with the result as it is. It's not perfect. I would have liked it for a little bit less overlap, but I don't think you're gonna see it much in the end result. And obviously we also need some trees to really frame this area. I went with the biggest ones I had because I wanted this to like drape over the beehives for a bit of shade. And I also thought a little bit of fencing would look good here. And now we're just gonna spruce up these beehives. I don't know why I put a light there. It doesn't really make sense to really hang stuff off of them, but I did anyway, and it looks great in my opinion. But yeah, I struggled for a little bit here because I kind of wanted it in the middle, but I didn't have enough space, so I ended up putting it to the side here. And the rest of what you're gonna see is just mostly items that don't necessarily work with beehives or a bee farm, but you know, I had to decorate this build a little bit, right? So I just grabbed everything that could resemble a pot of honey in any way, or anything that would make this look a little bit more enchanting, anything that could resemble something like honey or honeycomb, like the Peltac heating vents, the big one and the smaller one. I just, because of the orange like glowing color, I thought, well, maybe it kind of looks like a honeycomb. You know, when you sometimes see they take out a sheet of honey out of the beehive and put it to the side, that was my idea. I may have stolen that a little bit from the beehives in Animal Crossing, but yeah, that's where my inspiration came from. And right now I'm just putting in a little bit of paving. These are going to shift around a little bit. I'm not completely happy with some of them. There's a little bit too much of a gap in between some. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a perfectionist in real life, but with this type of stuff, needs to just fit perfectly together. I can't really explain it. So I am going to shift these around just a tiny bit to make it more aligned just a little bit better. And I think this is pretty much almost the end. I'm gonna sprinkle in some minor last little details that I think would work in this build. A bird bath, I don't know why, but I don't know, maybe bees need to drink as well, right? And some more barrels. I thought they could possibly contain honey as well. And some more pots and plants. And the last thing I'm gonna put in are these, just because the effect is so cool when you interact with it. I wanted it in a corner, but it didn't really fit. But yeah, this is the last item. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell to never miss another video. And enjoy the end result. See you next time. Bye bye.